So the list of string built-in functions we discussed actually what are the functions available in Python. So which is title, upper, lower, swap case, is alarm, is digit, right? You know, these built-in functions are very simple. So I just open interactive mode. So Python, there are two different types of modes. One is interactive mode and the second one is script mode. So I just open interactive mode. That means interactive mode is nothing but we are directly interacting with interpreter. Script mode means we should write script in one notepad or notepad++, any text editor, then later run the script in command prompt. So this is interactive mode. Okay. So there are different ways actually. If you install Python in Windows, you can see directly Python interactive shell. You can open it. So this is Python interactive shell. It opens directly the prompt. Or else open the command prompt and type Python. Then again it will go to the interactive mode. So this is again interactive shell. See here directly if you open from here you can see interactive shell. And there is a one, if you install Python and you can see the documentation. See active state, active Python. So click on it, then you can see the documentation. So generally the documentation which is very helpful, Python documentation, you can see here Python V version 2.7.8 documentation and tutorial. So if you see the tutorial, then you can see strings. See? So we discussed single quotes, between single quotes, what need to do. So the same tag, but maybe different examples. So this is actually Python tutorial. So you can see that, everything, but the brief concept-wise information you can see here. Understood? This is the documentation. You can see next if statement. For loop. Break statement. Right? So this is a documentation. Even you can check from here. You can see some examples and you can practice this as well. So the documentation, once if you install Python, you can see that, which is actually if you install active state Python. And also if you install active state Python, I told we can see Python interactive shell. One is Python interactive shell. I just opened that. And you can see one more which is IDLE. So IDLE means, this is IDLE. So this is looks like Python interactive shell. That means yes, we can write whatever the Python interactive shell here, you can write it. Means I just want to display something, print 10. Yes, it display 10. Now see the difference, Python interactive shell and this. Python interactive shell, there is no options here. Only we can type whatever if you want to type. That means I just want to execute some variable. I just want to display some string, something. Or I want to create some list. Then okay. But here you can see the options. This is a Python, the default ideally. So why this is required means, generally, see, we can execute a script from here itself. I just want to open that. Open the script, the path here. Okay, so we'll see sample one. Now run. You can see the output. So that means generally, this is, again, I will discuss this, once if I start IDE. Okay, we'll discuss how to use this IDE and how to use Eclipse, how to use PyCharm. But this all actually inbuilt will get it. Once if you install Python, by default you'll get this all. Okay. Right. So now I just opened command prompt and I entered Python, then it opens interactive shell. Okay. So now I'm creating one string str equal to Python. So this is a variable. And these all the functions, okay, these all the built-in functions, 99% built-in functions are syntax. Generally in Python, syntax is very simple. Variable name dot function name. Variable name dot function name. So variable name dot function name means what? For example, I created str equal to Python. So this is the one variable str, and if you want to convert as a title method, then it should be variable name str then title, like this. Okay, so for almost all the functions, this is the syntax. Variable name dot function. So title method generally we are using to display the title style. That means, if you write Python script language, so I'm using str. In uppercase. Every word, first character in uppercase. But we define here everything is a lowercase, right? So the title built-in function, it converts every word first character into uppercase. Then this is actually, the style of title. So now the same thing, upper means it display uppercase. Upper is nothing but it display uppercase. So I just want to display the given string into uppercase. See, Python scripting language. So assign this value to the another variable str1 equal to, now print str1. This is uppercase now. Then if you use print str1 dot lower, it display lowercase. Then what is solemn, is digit, is title, is lower, is upper means? I want to check the given string is lower. So now str1 is having all the characters uppercase. But I am checking is lower, which is false, because that is not a lower case. But I am checking is upper. That is true. So it always checks the given string is whatever the function you are using. Is digit means it will check the total characters are digit or not. If it is digit, then it display true. If it is not, then it display false. Is title, we are checking the given string is a title or not. If it is not a title, then it display false. But title method is different, right? So if you use title method, it converts as a title. But if you use is title, it just checks whether that is a title or not. So these all are actually just checking it. And split and join we'll see again later after list concept. But if you want to understand, I just explain how split works. For example, so here s equal to, I have a variable s equal to, I'm writing, we are in Python session. I want to split this string based on the space. So the variable name dot function name split, then give the space here. Now see the output. So based on space, it's splitted. That means now the single string goes to the multiple strings. See, now we are in Python. We have a 5 strings now. But previously without, that means previously before using split, that is a single string. Understood? So if you want to assign this variable to another, the values to the another variable, you can assign it. So now print A. I just want to check the type. So type of A, which is a list type. See, this is a list now because multiple values. The string, single string to multiple, it converted using with a split. And join is nothing but multiple to single. I told we'll see this split and join later. Okay, we'll see again later. Now, what is strip then? Strip. So strip concept again, whenever if you are using list concept, this strip we use. Not list actually, exactly we can say the file handling like that. The file handling, whenever if you are reading the data from the file and assigning to the list, then we use strip there to delete the new line characters and all. So strip is nothing but it deletes white spaces, that means any new line characters, space, tab space. Okay, but where? So here strip is nothing but it deletes space, tab space, then new line characters. Before and after the string. So that means we have here, okay, str equal to, and Just assume I have a space here, then Python space script, then I have a new line character. So the strip function by default, it deletes the spaces left side of the string, right side of the string. So it may be space, it may be new line character, it may be tab space, but not between two strings. But not between two words. No. So it always checks the space at beginning, at end, only these two ways. Okay, so now here I'm writing the same string str equal to some space, then Python, then script, then new line. Now I'm using str dot strip. Now see the output. There is no new line, there is no space. It deleted. The strip function behavior, left side and right side, it always checks whether it is a, if there is a space or tab space or new line characters, it deletes it. But sometimes I want to use only left side. Then we have L strip. See now there is a new line. Because we used L strip, left side space it deleted. But if you want to go with only R strip, yes, you can use R strip. Now see new line deleted, but there is a space left side. Is it clear? These are the built-in functions we have in strings, which is very simple functions we can understand clearly once if you try it. So, and syntax is also very simple, variable name dot function name, that's it. So after these strings, we have a next variable called list. Okay, so the next variable is what? List. So generally in programming, okay, in programming languages like in C language, tell me what is array? I'm asking array. What is array in programming? Okay, I got response only from Arjun. Jahnavi. Abhishek. Also then. Okay, so in array means in programming, Arjun told list of similar types. Jahnavi, store values of the same data type. Set of elements. Abhishek. Madhusudan, collection of similar data types, right? Here, if you see all the definitions, there is a one common point, which is similar data types. Sandeep, collection of data types. So, collection of, we should tell like that, collection of similar data types, because here always it is a similar collection of similar data types, right? So collection of data types means only integer, only float, only string. So I am defining some int, which is a data type, then variable name, array name, which is a1, then of size 3 equal to. So here what we understood, the data type is must integer type I am writing, and size also I am defining at the time of variable declaration. So now size is only 3, but only integer values 10, 20, 30. So if you want to insert a new value, again that is different concept. So we should know that data structures and all. Because here if you want to insert a new value between these two values 10, 20 or 20, 30, the first thing we should increment the variable size, because the size we define as a 3. So that means there are some dependencies, right? So now float b of 2 equal to, then you can see two values 3.4, 5.6 like this. And string values char c of 3 equal to, then I am defining between the quotes So in general, this is a array in programming. Now coming to the Python, and in programming again, how to access values? Yes, we can access values based on index. But now coming to the Python having two different types of arrays. But we never use word called array in Python. Okay, we never use the name array, but array it is divided into two different types, which is list and tuples. List and tuples. So now list and tuples both are arrays only, but before that we should know the definition for array here. So in Python, array is nothing but collection of any collection of so here similar data type, right? But here collection of any data type. This is array. So any data type means what? It may be anything, combination of integer, float, string. Or only integers, yes, you can write it. Only float values, yes, you can write. Only string, yes. Combination, yes. Because any data type. So this is the basic concept. We should understand the differences between the, some programming and Python. And the second thing, we no need to define size. We no need to define the size because the size is infinite here. In Python or in Perl or any other scripting languages, arrays concept are maybe normal. There is no limit for assign the data. N number of characters we can. The same concept in arrays as well. So arrays At the time of declaration, the variable declaration, we no need to define the size, which is infinite. But at the time of execution, Python interpreter takes that size, or else we have some specific syntaxes how to get the array size. Because array size is must. Without knowing array size, we cannot access the values. For example, just assume array size is 10. Okay, but I don't know how size. But generally, the size we have 11 values in the list. But I don't know size. But what I'm doing now, I just want to access the value based on index 15th one. So we have actually size 10, but I'm trying to access 15th, which is not possible, and immediately we'll get the error message. So that is why in general, whenever if you are working with the list concept or tuples concept, the first thing tuple length of the list, because we are not using variable name of size. So better thing, you should know the length. So if you know the length, like for example, we have a 10 values, then we know that, okay, so if it is a 10 values, then we can use index from 0 to 9. Understood? So now, if you use like that 15th index, if you go for Perl or some other language, it will not give any error, but Python, it gives error. See now, for example, I have a one list I equal to 10, 20, 30. Print I of 0. I am using I of 10. Index error. See the index error. List index out of range. That means this index not in range. Because we have only 3 values. We can access the values from 0, 1, 2. But here I'm trying to access 10th value, but there is no 10th value here. Then immediately index error, list index out of range. Right? Okay, so what we understood here in Python, collection of any data type, and we no need to define the size. So, but why two types of arrays here, list and tuples? That means there is a different types of behaviors for some concepts. Means defining the variable is same, but if you see the list is mutable. That means we can change the values, we can delete the values whenever if it is required. But tuples are immutable. We cannot touch the values. That means we can display the values, we cannot delete, we cannot replace. So that is the difference. That means sometimes I want to create a array as a fixed values. Then we'll go for tuples. But I want to define one array. I want to change that values maybe in future. Then we'll go for list concept. So both are arrays, but here in Python we have two different types of arrays, which is list and tuple. So first we will see what is list. So these two points are common, right? Collection of any data type, and here we no need to define the size. Size is infinite. Any data type means it may be integer or float or char, which is string. Now, how to understand whether it is a list or tuple? The variable name is common. Any name you can equal to, be equal to. So if you see the variable name, we cannot identify whether it is a list or tuple. But how we can understand means based on the brackets. If it is a square brackets, yes, that is a list. If it is a normal parenthesis, that is a tuple. So square bracket, inside the square bracket, if you see the values, then very simple, that is a list concept. We no need to go for type of variable name, not required. If you see the square brackets, then fix, that is a list. If you see the parenthesis, that is a tuple. Okay. So now, as of now, any doubts? Like string built-in functions, like the basic discussion here, list concept and all. Anyone? Okay. So now we'll see how to write list and how to display the values. Okay, what are the built-in functions we have in the list? List again having many built-in functions. Okay. So now, give me 2 minutes of time. Okay, I'll go and have some more. Okay. So a list generally here, list can be written as a list of comma separated. See, I am just specifying comma separated because some other languages we never use comma. So the values, for example, if you want to define 10, 20, 30, in Python we are using 10, 20, 30 to the variable. But in some other languages we use 10 space, 20 space, 30. So that is why here I just mentioning that comma separated. values. So values means here we'll call it as items. So list can be written as list of comma separated values between the square brackets. That is important, between the square brackets. So any variable name we can use. That means any name, variable name is a user defined name. So a equal to 1, 2, 3, Python so this is a list. See here, collection of any data type. So here we have a integer, we have a string, we have a float values. So this list I told which is a mutable, right? So you should understand that list is a multiple values and we can say which is mutable. Mutable means we can edit the values, we can delete the values, we can insert the values, we can add the values. So if it is mutable, we can delete, we can display, we can insert, we can add, anything we can do. But strings and tuples are immutable. Strings are also immutable. For example, I have a string called Python. So from this string I just want to display the first character. Then you can use print str of 0, str of 1, str of 2. That means this is an index for string as well. See, I have a string here which is Python. So if you want to see the based on index, the index actually it starts from 0, then 1, then 2 like that, and reverse index -1, -2, -3 like that. So -1 is nothing but the last value from the string. So -1 is n, and 0 means first value which is p. So here also we are using the indexes concept to display the value in the string. But I just want to replace the last character which is n. N I want to replace with f. Okay, that is a string, right? So str is a variable name. Str of -1, that means the last value I want to replace with f. See, we got two different types of errors. So the first one I'm not using, that means here there is no quotes. So this is a simple character. Then if you type normal character or string, that means without quotes, generally that will take as a variable. So that is why we got immediately name error. Name f is not defined. But here I defined the character f between the quotes. Now if you see type error, string object does not support item assignment. That means which is immutable. We cannot replace the value or we cannot delete the value. type error we can see here. Okay, so now that means string and tuples are immutable. Tuples again we'll see later. Now how to access the values from this list? We can access the values, just now we discussed, we can access the values based on index or reverse index. So we can access the values based on index or reverse index, anything we can use it. Then what is index and what is reverse index? Index generally it starts with 0. Index starts with 0. And reverse index starts with -1, which is last value. Okay, so for example, we have a list here. The name I am writing list, then values 10, 20, 30, 40. So this is a list here. Okay, so I have list of values in this list variable. So which is 10 and 20 and 30 and 40. So we have a 4 values here. We can access these values using with indexes or using with the reverse index. So this is index or using with a reverse index. Right? So reverse index and this is index. Index starts with 0 and 1 and 2 and 3. So for example, if I want to access .t, then we should use index 2, or we can use -1, -2, -3, -4, which is reverse indexes. So either if you want to display 30, either you can use 2 or you can use -2. If you want to display 20, you can use 1, then you can use -3. Right? So now here I am defining a list equal to, or else I will write my list. Between the square bracket so whenever if you want to display the values, the first thing we should know the length of the list. So there are a lot of built-in functions again, but first we will see length. So length is a common built-in function, not specific for only arrays or only string or only tuples. That means list is a common built-in function. But for example, if you see the split is a string function. Join is a string function. Upper is a string function. That means only string level that will work. But here I just telling that to get the length of array or to get the length of string, we have a one function called len, which is a common built-in function. So why I am explaining common built-in function, why I am telling many times means because the reason I told, if it is a string function, if it is a list function, if it is a tuple function, then we can use the syntax variable name dot function name. So this is if it is a common function, sorry, if it is a specific variable type, that means if it is a string, then if the function is a string built-in function, generally we use this syntax, variable name dot function name. But now length is a common function, the syntax is different. So we are not using variable name dot len now. The syntax is len of variable name. So len of variable name we are using for what? To get the array length or string length, to get the length of list. So now print my underscore list, sorry, len of my underscore list. See the length now. So 0, 1, 2, 3, the indexes. But if you see that count 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 values. Yes. Any doubts in this? How to define a variable and how to see the length of the variable, those things? Okay. So now I just want to display the first value. So we know that the length is 4, that means indexes we can use 0 to 3. So print my underscore list of 0. This is underscore. This is, I just using -1 here, okay? And I want to use here 2 and -2. Now see, my list of 0, which is first value 10. My list of -1, which is Python. My list of 2, 30. My list of -2, again 30. Right? So if you want to access a value, we just using index concept here to get the value. Index or reverse index concept. Now I want to replace the value. So I want to replace Python with Perl. I want to replace the values here. So here I am using my list of -1. You know, whenever if you want to replace any existing value, which is very simple, using with assignment operator. So I am using assignment here, and I want to replace Perl, Python with Perl, and display here my list. Now see the output 10, 20, 30. then Python replaced with Perl. So now I just used assignment operator to replace the value, right? Using with assignment operator, we can replace the value here in list concept. Now, traversing. Traversing means what? I just want to display all the values one by one. Then tell me how to display that. How to display this all the values one by one. Hello? How to display these values one by one? 10, then next line 20, then next line 30, then next line Python.
Using any loop.
Slash n. So what is the meaning for slash n? The slash n we are using for
new line character, which is actually here we are in arrays concept. It display all the list of values first, then it display new line. See, because of the new line, it is giving actually
one new line. But my requirement is what? The first 10, the new line.
in for loop. There is no concept of increment in Python. Okay, so we don't need to use I plus equal to 1 or any increment operator.
So for loop we are using for what? Just read the value and display. So this for loop not like C programming style, initialization, condition and increment, decrement. I already told this is just like a shell scripting style or for each in Perl. So here we have a list now. I just want to display this all the list of values one by one. So generally we'll traversing, we can say that, right? So traversing, we use for loop. For, then variable name, then in, then list of values, which is actually my list, and it ends with a colon, then display print I. So you should understand there is no increment here in for loop. Okay, we are just writing for loop and print statement. See the values 10, 20, 30 Python. The first 10, 20, 30 Python, because we used actually print my underscore list new line. Is it clear now? So how to display the values line by line using with for loop. Now I want to insert a new value, maybe before 10, or I want to insert a new value after Python, or I want to insert a new value between these two. So we know that how to replace. So this is actually replace. That means Python we replaced with Perl, or any value if you want to replace we use assignment operator. But now our requirement is different. I want to insert one new value between these two indexes. Then generally we should know the list built-in functions. We have a list of built-in functions in list. So we'll see that list of built-in functions behavior. But before that, I just want to display the range. That means I'm defining my list equal to the values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So this is a list of values I have. So in these values, I want to display only 10, 20, 30, 40. I want to display only 10, 20, 30, 40. Then what we can use, print my list, okay, which is a variable name. Then starts from 0th index, because this is starts from 0th index, then colon 10, 20, 30, 40, right? So colon, then 3. So colon we are using here for the range. So now if you see the output, 10, 20, 30 is the output. So if you use 0, colon 3, it starts from 0, ends at 3. That is the meaning for that. Now I am using print, then here -4. Now tell me what is the output for this. Output -4. Okay, why different outputs here? See, is it error? Okay, somebody told Python 80, 70, 60. Then some people are telling error, and others 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So now understand first what is range. Range always, if I specify 0, colon 4, range means it starts from this to this. So the range here, this is actually 0 to 4. And now I define 0, colon -4, which is actually it starts from 0 and till -4. That means, we know that we have a values. How many values? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 values. We know that the index 0, 1, 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9. The index, we have 9 indexes. And if you see the reverse index, -1, -2, then -3, then -4. So this is actually -4. So I just want to display from 0. Exclude. That is not including. That means the range 0 to 3 means not including 3. 0 to 3. That means 0, 1, 2. You display 0, 1, 2. That is why output we got 10, 20, 30. Now the same, here I am using 0, colon -4. This is exclude, not including. So the output it display 0, index, first index, second index, third index, fourth index, and fifth index. The sixth index is nothing but -4. Already we defined here -4 the range, so it will not display. So the output is what? Output here it display from this example 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. See? It will not give any error. It will not give the reverse order. So it simply display 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which is a range. So, I understood why you people are thinking error means maybe if this is actually 0 and that one is minus concept, so we are thinking like that. But here, always it concentrates based on the list values. So in list we have 9 or 10 values. So it just checks from 0th index to till that particular index, or -1 to maybe -9. So between that I just want to display. You can use anything, 0:-4 or 0:4. That will work. So I want to display last 3 values. I want to display last 3 values. So now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So index 6. So print. Then my list index 6 colon, that's it. We don't need to specify the last index, because if I specify the last index -1, that always it exclude. That means Python it will not display. This value it will not display. So if you use 6 colon, start from 6 till the end of the value. So now if I use something print my list then colon 5. The meaning is starts from the beginning, display still index 4, index 5 is 5 means the 5 last value always it excludes. So index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. Sandeep, 0. I didn't get your question. Should be -1 means? Okay. Maybe the last example, right? Okay. So now, I want to display every second value. Then for example 2, that means this is actually 0, 1. The range is 0, 1. So always the last value what you specified here, which is 2, that is excluding, right? So 0, 1 is output now. That means 10, 20 is output. But our requirement, I just want to display every second value, every alternate value. Then give one more colon. So if you give one more colon, the meaning now starts from 0 and display every second value. Starts from 0 and display every second value. See, it started from 0, 10, second value 30, then after that 50, 70, then Python. So now, starts from 0, display every third value. Just give the 3 here instead of 2. Then you can see every third value display. 10, then third value is 40, then 70. right? So sometimes I want to check the given value exists or not. I want to check the given value. If the given value does not exist, it display false. So we discussed how to define a list and how to access the values based on index and reverse index. And also we discussed how to replace the values and how to display the range of the values here, right? If I want to insert some value between two indexes, or if I want to delete some value, or if I want to add some values after Python append, then what we need to do? So for that, actually we have a list built-in functions. So here list built-in functions. So the list built-in functions, here we have a list of functions like string. Append is a one built-in function. Insert is a one built-in function. Extend is a one built-in function. So append and extend, it looks like same, but there is a difference. And remove is one built-in function. So remove is a built-in function which is related to list. And how we are using len. Len is a common function, I told. The same way we have a common another function which is del. So del is not specific list function. This is a common function. You understood, right? What is the differences between common function and specific function? That means if it is a list function, then we use variable name dot function name. If it is a string function, variable name dot function name. But common function, the syntax is not variable name dot function name. So if you see the del, then variable name of value, or del then variable name of index, or del then variable name of key. If you see the length, len variable name, len of variable name. But other syntax is variable name dot function name. Okay, so that is why this del is a common function, not specific list function. Then we have a sort function here. And we have reverse function. And we have pop. Len, we discussed already. And len to get the count of the total, right? So same like that, we have a list built-in function count, but there is difference in that list length and list count. So we have a built-in functions like this in list: append, insert, extend, remove, del, and sort, reverse, pop, length, count. Okay, so any doubts in this? Accessing, display the values, replacing, display the range. Okay. So we'll see these built-in functions in the next session. So can we start session tomorrow at 6 a.m. IST, 6:30 a.m. IST to 7:30 a.m. IST? Okay. So only 30 minutes, the regular timings, we have 7 to 8 actually, but I just asking 30 a.m. to 7:30. Some people asked actually, so 30 minutes before itself start, then I decided it. Okay. So tomorrow we have a session 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. IST. Okay. Yeah. Thank you then. Have a nice day. Bye.